What's going on, sports fans? Welcome back to the channel. We got a great one for you today in risers and fallers. Do us a huge favor. If you like the video, drop a like, remember to subscribe, and let's just get right into it. First up on the list of risers, we have Ravens rookie running back J.K. Dobbins. And although J.K. Dobbins was playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense this weekend, who's highly considered a top 3 run defense, Dobbins had 15 rushes for 113 yards. And although he wasn't able to find the end zone, he looked really good with the touches that he got. He looked explosive, and he's always been a very balanced runner. I loved him coming out of college, and I really thought that he was going to be taken ahead of Jonathan Taylor. So I was surprised when he fell, but he is showing the Baltimore Ravens why they got so much value with him in the draft. Currently, the reason Dobbins is able to get the time that he is because Mark Ingram is injured. And even when Mark Ingram comes back, I still think there's a chance that they continue to lean towards Dobbins, as Ingram has pretty much looked washed all year for the most part. I don't expect him to come off of injury this late in the season and look better than he did earlier in the year. One of the big downsides for Dobbins is Gus Edwards. Edwards had 16 carries, 87 yards, and a touchdown, and also looked pretty good. And although you can consider this a backfield by committee, I think you have to look at the Baltimore Ravens backfield by committee differently than you would another team, just simply based off of how much they run the ball and how much of their offense is predicated on the run. The second downside for Dobbins is Lamar, who also had 16 rushes for 65 yards. And although Dobbins was definitely the best running back or just runner in total for this team on Sunday, he had the least amount of touches, although he certainly did the most with those touches when given them. And I love that for him projecting forward. Fantasy wise in redraft this year, I still have him in the running back 3 to flex territory, just simply based off of us being unsure what he will do when Mark Ingram comes back. However, like I said, I expect him to continue to dominate the work instead of Mark Ingram. And if Gus Edwards was to go down, I think he would take on a massive role, a 20+ carry type of role. And in this offense, I really do like that for him going forward. In redraft, I think he's almost a must own, as Mark Ingram will be off of contract next year and he will become the workhorse. And anyone who's the workhorse in this Baltimore Ravens offense as they are currently built is going to absolutely produce value week in and week out in fantasy football. Next up on this list, we have a player who has not played a game this year, but is still a riser in Antonio Brown. AB cleared COVID protocol this past week and will be prepared to suit up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they take on the New Orleans Saints. And although we are not 100% sure what AB's role in this offense is going to be, we do know that he has a very good connection with Tom and that Tom vouched for him to come to Tampa Bay. Bruce Arians essentially said that he did not want anything to do with Antonio Brown. And even though the reports are that Tom Brady had no influence on him coming here, I think that's a laughable joke if you don't think that there was some Tom Brady influence in Antonio Brown coming to this already loaded offense. Now, what that will do for his ceiling, I think it will raise it in a sense that you will not be able to double team AB as teams have been able to in the years past because of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. But I also think that it does limit his ceiling in the sense that he does have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Gronk on the team. However, I really do expect Brady to try and get him the ball to make him feel involved with the team. And also just the simple fact that he's probably more than likely going to be open, because if you cannot double AB, he's going to get open throughout the game. This week coming up, Chris Godwin is questionable with a finger injury, so that'll be definitely something to keep an eye on if you're looking to play AB on your fantasy team. I'm not sure how confident I would be putting him out there right now, just simply based on the fact that we have not seen what he does get to look like in this offense. It could be a sneaky good play, though, in the sense that if they get in the red zone the same way that Brady has fed Mike Evans in the red zone, I could see him feeding Antonio Brown, again, trying to get him involved, make him really feel like part of the team. Going forward through the rest of the year, I think he's going to be able to show value for your fantasy football team. 100% make sure to check waivers, make sure he's not there. I highly doubt he is, but it's absolutely worth a look. I wouldn't go trading for him right now just because, again, we don't know what his role is going to be in this offense. And it's going to probably take him a few weeks just to get into the groove of playing football as he's not played in a while. However, Antonio Brown is absolutely considered a riser this week, going from not playing games to playing in this Buccaneers offense with Tom Brady. Very excited to see what we get out of AB. Next up on the list, we have 2 guys that are fallers, but I'm counting them as one essentially because they are in the same exact situation. We have Philadelphia Eagle Boston Scott and Cincinnati Bengal Gio Bernard. And the reason these 2 guys are essentially in the same exact boat is that both of them are backup running backs who are heading into bye weeks And coming out of the bye weeks, the starting running backs are expected to resume their role as the running back one. Both of these guys, even though they were both actually pretty good for your fantasy team, if you played them when they were the running back one, especially Gio Bernard this past weekend, they are both going to fall back into their running back by committee type of role. I expect their touches to decrease greatly going forward here. Keep an eye on them just in case Miles Sanders or Joe Mixon was to get injured going forward. I'm not 100% sure what their value is going to be right now as they go into a bye, and then coming out of the bye, I expect them to lose a large majority of their role. So unfortunately, Boston Scott and Gio Bernard are big fallers this week. Next up on the fallers list, we have another rookie in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Kansas City Chiefs absolutely dominated the New York Jets, and if there was a game where Clyde was going to be able to give you one last week of value, you would have expected it to be this, and to see him only have 6 rushes for 21 yards was concerning in multiple ways. And now that Le'Veon is here in the backfield, it's going to be a backfield by committee. I'm not sure week in, week out if you're really going to be able to play either one of these guys, as Le'Veon had also 6 rushes. He only had 7 yards. He didn't look good on him, but he had 3 targets and 3 receptions. And if he's taking receiving work away from Clyde Edwards, that is greatly going to impact his PPR value. Again, we knew it when Le'Veon came onto the team that Clyde's value was going to drop. I'm not sure if I saw it dropping this far to where he's almost in unplayable territory. I would like to give it another week or two to see if they use him more efficiently. However, with Le'Veon, I think if you're a Le'Veon owner as in fantasy, then you expect them to start ramping his work up more too. Clyde Edwards is very concerning for me going forward, and he might be my biggest faller on this list just because if he wasn't able to get it done against the Jets, I'm not really sure where he's going to be able to find his groundwork success with Le'Veon now on the team and being on a team that loves to pass the ball as much as the Kansas City Chiefs do. Very much so worried for Clyde going forward. The last riser on this list, we have Indianapolis Colt Jordan Wilkins. This past week against Detroit, Wilkins had 20 carries for 89 yards, a touchdown, along with the reception for 24 yards. And the real reason that Wilkins is going to be raising up boards here and is going to be a riser is because Jonathan Taylor has an ankle injury that was not disclosed heading into the bye week or coming out of the bye week. So that was very concerning to see as a Jonathan Taylor owner. However, if you are able to get Jordan Wilkins off of waiver wire, there is a real chance that he is going to be taking over this running back one role. And no matter who it is, the running back one in this Colts offense with this Colts offensive line will always have value. He's being given really good opportunity right now, and he actually looked pretty decent with those opportunities. I thought he even looked better than Taylor, and that breaks my heart to say as a Colts fan and a Jonathan Taylor owner. I did a video on Jonathan Taylor as a trade target, and in that video I broke down his schedule, how amazingly easy it was coming up. The only tough game was this current week against Baltimore. However, after that, the schedule gets absolutely phenomenal. Go check out that video if you want a more in-depth breakdown of the schedule. I'm going to drop a picture right here to show you just how favorable it is for Wilkins in this offense going forward. He's a riser with caution in the sense that Taylor is still getting his touches. Nyheim Hines is getting his touches. I wouldn't go out and do anything crazy with Jordan Wilkins. However, he's a must stash right now. Taylor was to miss time. Wilkins would become a running back 2 pretty darn quickly. Finally on this list, we're going to end with the faller, and we're going to end with him because I think it's a surprise faller, and I have Adam Thielen as one of my biggest fallers this week. Past weekend against Green Bay, he had 4 targets, 3 receptions, and 27 yards. And I know you're saying, Nick, that's not a big deal. They ran the ball super well. He'll have his going forward. And while I agree that he will not be having games like this in the future, I think we severely have to temper our expectations for Adam Thielen, as I believe that Minnesota is going to want to start playing all of their football games the way they played against Green Bay. They want to limit Kirk Cousins as much as possible and feed Dalvin as much as they can. The positive for Thielen is that their defense is still atrocious, so that they may be a negative game script a lot of time in terms of for the offense. Positive for Thielen. However, even when those scripts are positive for Thielen, I still expect him to always get the best cornerback, as he did against Green Bay Packers with Jair covering him. And if there's not a lockdown corner, I expect him to continue to get coverage rolled over the top of him, allowing Justin Jefferson to go to work. And with Justin Jefferson's route running, I think the time that it would take for Thielen to get open with the double coverage or the number 1 cornerback, Jefferson will already be open. So I expect Kirk to look that way more often. I would not be selling Thielen right now. There was such a positive game script for the Minnesota Vikings that they were able to continue to run the ball as much as they did. I'm not sure that holds going forward. However, I think that is the way that they're going to want to start playing They know that they cannot keep their defense out there for too long or they will get exposed. And they know they cannot give Kirk Cousins too many opportunities because he will also get exposed. So I believe we have to start tempering expectations with Adam Thielen. If you are able to trade him for good value, I would absolutely look to do it. I would not panic sell, but there's definitely the possibility that you should look to see if you can get good return on him. Drop down in the comments who you're thinking of trading for, and we can have a good discussion about it. To wrap it up, again, in risers, we have Jordan Wilkins, J.K. Dobbins, Antonio Brown, and Brandon Ayuk. And in fallers, we have Boston Scott, Gio Bernard, Clyde Edwards, and Adam Thielen. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And if you want to drop some comments down below about trades that you're looking to make, I'd love to discuss them with you guys. Again, appreciate you guys listening and watching. Take it easy. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.